Yo, Chris Silverman here. Today's video, I want to talk about how much do I charge for my services and how much you might want to charge. Let's talk pricing structure. Every business is different. Every business has their own way to price things out. Now, me as an individual, I'm going to share my best practices as an individual sole proprietor who is self-employed, owns his own business, and usually works by myself. So my pricing is going to be a little bit different than, say, your contracting company who employs guys or subcontracts guys to go out and perform the work. And even as an individual, my pricing is going to be different from, let's say, another individual's pricing. So I'm a young guy, and I move a lot quicker than some other guys. And so I know that when I'm on the job and I am quoting according to the work that I'm going to perform, price is going to be probably a little bit different based on someone else's ability and agility and performance, especially if he's charging by the hour. I'm doing good. I have a deposit, and I wrote the figures here. You'll see. I recently made a video about diagnosing a chimney leak, and I put in a bid to paint it, and I ended up hearing from a third party that they found a cheaper, someone who's willing to do it for less. And you have those guys that are going to do it for less. You also have those guys that are going to do it for an incredibly much more larger amount than what I bid on it. All I have to say is I wanted to touch base about that chimney, that I'm not going to be videoing me painting it because I didn't win the bid. But using the chimney as an example, I want to go ahead and explain my process in coming up with the price that I gave for the chimney, both on labor and for the materials. So, a little history and background as to how I've come up with the way in which I charge customers. I started out painting houses back when I was 16, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, until I went to college. And even in college, I think I picked up one or two paint jobs, but I mostly worked at McAllister's Deli serving sandwiches. After college, however, I got back into the construction field doing other types of work. Now, when I started out as a young kid, I was making $6 an hour at however many hours a week. I was being 1099 from the painting contractor. And when I got back into the construction field after college, I got employed at $10 an hour. And I did that for quite a while until I started working with another individual who would pay me $12 an hour. And it took about a month, and he went ahead and started giving me $14 an hour. Well, as a growing young man, you can only survive on $14 an hour for so long. So what I ended up doing was starting my own business, and I would be employed by other individuals, remodeling contractors. They would subcontract me out rather than me being hired on as a helper, making $14, $15 an hour. So I know that a lot of guys, they would make $20 an hour based on however many hours they would put in for whoever. And at the same time, there's other guys, a lot of painters, they were getting $25 an hour. And a lot of more experienced construction guys, they were getting upwards from anywhere from $30 an hour to I think about $40, $45 an hour. No one was ever upfront about this. This is just me trying my best to pay attention and learn as much as I could, and knowing like what the actual bids were going into projects based on asking customers, asking friends for advice. So when I showed up to a job, I would, based on $25 an hour, I would quote painting a house, the exterior of the house. And my process for coming up with the figure would be, how many days was it going to take me? How many hours is it going to take me to accomplish this job? So $25 an hour at, let's say, 40 hours. And that's how I came up with my price. At the same time, you want to know what other guys are making, what other people are making in your field. You want to know what other guys are charging. At the same time, you kind of want to know what the market is willing to pay for. And that's going to take being in the field, listening to YouTube videos like this, where you can learn. So I'm in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, and most companies are charging anywhere from $95 an hour upward. Now, there are guys, individuals who own their own companies who charge $50 an hour. And the same principle applies in regards to charging for the job. Now, I understand and I know that a lot of guys, they have the ability, or no. Now, I know that a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll work out with the customer a deal in which they say, I will work at $50 an hour or $25 an hour or $30 an hour, and I'll clock in and you'll pay me accordingly. Now, that is phenomenal way to do it. It's great. At the same time, it's, the customer, it can end in a bad relationship with the customer, because a lot of guys, when they do that, they drag their feet and they're, what do you call it, milking the clock. So me as an individual, I do that based on some items. So as a handyman, I will go and install curtains, curtain rods, pictures, stuff like that. These miscellaneous items throughout the home. And when that occurs, I can't price it out for a certain charge. I can't just say, oh, this is going to be $300 and then that'll be it. In those cases, I'll tell them my hourly rate and I will clock in at a certain time. I'll go about the list and explain to them, if at any point you need to, let's cut out, let's stop what we're doing. And the majority of the time, that works. Most cases though, I will charge a set price. I will look at a job, think, okay, this is how long it's going to take me. Based on my hourly rate, I'll do that. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you guys already do this and already know that. And so let's get back to some more personal, what exactly do I charge? So I charge $95 an hour. And in a lot of jobs that I'll do is I'll look at how long it's going to take me, how many hours, based on $95. So the chimney, I charged $285. I estimated it's going to take me, is it 3 hours? Let me pull out my calculator. 3 hours. It's going to take me 3 hours based on $95 hour rate. Now, at the same time, I have what's considered a day rate, a half day rate, and I will use that also to kind of fluctuate my price. So as a personal business, I know that in order for my business to have any kind of success, I'm gonna have to have a certain amount per day. And that means my schedule is gonna have to fill up for that day to meet that quota, or that, yeah, I think that's quota. So $285 is not going to meet the demand that is put on my business in order for my business to be thriving. So I would have to do that in the morning and then go and fill up the afternoon doing something else. That doesn't always happen. That does not always happen. And so what I quoted her was $285 based on 3 hours worth of work. Realistically, it could take 4-5 hours. It's a big chimney. It's gonna take multiple coats of paint, and at the same time, it sounds like there's guys that are gonna do it for a lot less. Now, and I also know that there are companies that are going to charge a lot more than that. Materials. What did I do about materials? I looked up online, Home Depot, how much paint and primer is going to cost. And so I estimated materials to be, if I recall correctly, I think about $150, $160. But if you think about how much paint is going on, the tools that are required to do all of that, it's a $285 plus $150, $435. And then also in the state of North Carolina, there is labor sales tax. They tax labor. So that's another 7.5% added on to $435. So we're estimating about $500 to seal up this chimney. So I hope this is helpful. I might be missing some stuff. You might have some questions, and if you do, please ask. Leave a comment down below. I feel pretty vulnerable sharing this stuff, just because, I don't know, it just feels kind of touchy. I don't know, but I want to help. I want to bring you as much value as possible, and in any case, I'm having to go out and drive to people's houses all the time just so I can tell them what things cost. So in reality, why not just help myself out by telling the mass public this is going to be what things cost? And you got your low ballers, you got your medium, and you got your high. And I would consider myself to be about medium. So that's it. I hope this brought a lot of value, and if so, go ahead and like. If you didn't and you don't like how long this video was, hit the dislike twice, and I'll see you guys in the next video.